Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a scary storytelling time in the spirit of Halloween. And also just want to let you know that I'm recording at a time that I don't usually record, so it will probably be a little bit annoying because there's a lot of noises going on right now. But if you don't mind, and if you want to hear a scary story, ASMR style, then stick with me and let's begin. Before anything, have you noticed that I finally dyed my hair? I'm a redhead officially, and I think I really like it. I feel as though I was born to be a redhead, but whatever. I'm just really excited and happy to have this new look. And if you like it, let me know in the comments, or if you prefer my other hair color, also let me know in the comments. I don't mind. And well, for this storytelling time, I recommend you guys to sit back, relax, be in like a safe place, grab some popcorn because it's going to be a long one. I brought some jalapeno chips and fried plantain so I can eat while sharing this story with you. So, okay, these are two scary stories that happened to me. And yeah, I'm just gonna start. I think that's an ambulance. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Well, I have to do this because if I don't record right now, I will never be able to record today. So I'm sorry for all the noise. So there was this time when I was a teenager that I used to live in like a residential like closed gate place, and this place was like 15 minutes away from the city through the highway. And so every day I had to go to the city to take my ballet classes, and so I would drive, my parents would drive me from the residential place to the city. And I used to take ballet lessons, so I would go from 4 to like 9ish or even 10. So this one night, my stepdad and I are coming back from my class, and we're like having a good time. We're going a little bit fast on the highway. We're listening to music and dancing and like being really cool about everything. And so we get to this part of the highway that, well, I have to explain some things about this part of the highway before I continue. We get to this part of the highway where a lot of accidents have happened. Like, not just 2 or 3, but like a lot. And this part of the highway is like a weird curve. Not exactly a curve, but kind of like a wiggle in the highway. And like this guy crashed his car there, and the car exploded, and he like burned alive and died. And like a lot of car crashes have happened there. In Mexico, people put like little houses next to the places in the highway where people have died as like a tribute to the dead people. And so there are 2 of those in that part of the highway. And this part of the highway, there's like never lights there. It's always super dark, even though they've tried to put lights there. All the light bulbs always fail there. They don't even know why, but they've tried changing them so many times. But this part of the highway is still dark all the time. And in this part of the highway, 2 things have happened to me before what I'm about to tell you that were strange. So the first thing that happened to me is I was going through that part of the highway with a friend in his car, and like all the electric parts of the car, like the board and the lights, all went off at the same time, even the radio, everything, like out of the blue. And it was pretty strange, but by itself, I mean, it wasn't anything paranormal or anything like that. It was just strange. And so we had to like turn off everything and then turn it back on so that the lights would go on again. And then the second thing that happened before the paranormal activity happened was not something that happened to me directly, but to us as a family. My sister's boyfriend at the time was driving our car through that part of the highway, and he crashed the car, and the car flipped like plenty of times, and the car ended up like a ball of paper, just crushed. And fortunately, my sister's boyfriend at the time just got burnt in the hand, but other than that, he was okay. But like, had anyone else been in that car at that time, they would have completely died. But so yeah, that's not also like paranormal or weird or anything by itself, but it's just one more thing that adds to the weirdness and like bad vibrations of that part of the highway. And so my dad and I are going through that part. We're having a good time. I'm singing, he's singing, and then all of a sudden I feel this like cold shiver down my spine, and I start feeling very like distraught. And like at the corner of my eye, I start seeing like this figure in the middle of the highway. And as we're getting closer to it, I start like seeing it better and better, until I see that there's this like woman in the middle of the highway, barefoot, with like a spring white dress on, and she's like bruised all over like her arms, and she's like bluish, like a dead body, and her hair is like damp, and she's like sweating. I mean, all of this I saw it in a fraction of a second, but I could see it so clearly. It's like everything is slowed down. And so I see her until she's like right next to me here, like because I was in the passenger seat. And so I like turn back to like seeing the front part of the highway, and I'm in shock, and so I start screaming. I'm like, there's this lady in the middle of the highway. And my stepdad is like, why are you screaming? What's going on? I didn't see anyone. And it's just like a moment of panic between the both of us. And he didn't see anything or anyone, so he like doesn't pay attention to me. And so we get home. I'm like freaked out. I'm feeling weird. And my stepdad and my mom are like, this girl's crazy. Is she on drugs or what? They were just like weirded out that I was acting so weird and scared. And so my stepdad tells me, honey, you see, in this part of where we live, there are many wives that are beaten by their husbands, like their husbands beat them. Like there's a lot of like domestic violence in that area. And he was like, you know, sweetie, maybe this woman was attacked by her husband, and she was trying to like run away through the highway, and that's what you saw, a woman that was beaten up by her husband in the middle of the highway, sweating or something. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, I would have known the difference. You would have seen her. And he was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna buy a newspaper every day for the rest of the week, so we can see that in the news there was a woman who was running in the middle of the highway, because where we lived was a very small place, so if that had happened, there would have been some story about it. And so we buy newspapers every single day of that week, and then the next one, and nothing, absolutely nothing. And so time passes, I kind of forget. We would pass through that part of the highway, and I would always like look down. I didn't want to see her again. And a year passes by, and I'm almost forgetting about this completely. And my stepdad comes home for dinner pretty late at night, and he gets home and he's like super super pale and like shook, and you could see in his face he was terrified. And this is a man who doesn't get scared with anything. His dad was like a general or something in the military in Mexico, and so he doesn't get scared with anything. And he sits down at the table for dinner, and he's like, and he looks at me, and he tells me, I just saw the lady in the middle of the road, the same one that you described, and it's been a year. And I was like, what? No, 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 please don't tell me that. I don't want to know. And he's like, no, 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 I saw her. I don't know what to think. I'm probably just too tired. And you like suggested that in my mind. And I was like, no, I swear, I saw her. Whatever. No, maybe we both are crazy or something. And that by itself is not enough proof. But then, when I was 21 years old, I was already living with my boyfriend in another house, but in the same residential area. And this one night, I was drinking with a friend, and I got a little bit too drunk to drive. And so I told my boyfriend, who hadn't drank anything, that if he could help me out taking my friend to the city, back to her house. And I was like, yeah, I'll take both of you to her house. So we go on the highway, and we get to the city, and we leave my friend there. And on the way back, I was like falling asleep because I was drunk. And so I fall asleep completely, and then we get home, and I go to bed, and nothing happened, according to me. But then the next morning, my boyfriend is like, do you remember anything from last night? And I was like, no, did I make a fool out of myself because I was drunk? And he was like, no, 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 no. We were coming back from the highway, and we almost crashed. And I was like, what? We almost crashed? And he says, yeah, we were coming back from the city, and we were going through that dark area on the highway, and then out of nowhere, this woman in white appears, and I have to like turn the car like onto the side because she's like in the middle of the highway. And I swear, I thought we were going to crash. And I was like, what? It's been so many years. How did the woman look? And he was like, just like you told me. She was like bruised with a white dress and damn hair in the middle of the street. Like there was no one there, and then all of a sudden there was someone there. We almost crashed. And I was like, get the hell out of here. And so that happened. And that was pretty scary because it's a lot of instances that have happened. A lot of weird things around that area. And 3 different witnesses at 3 very different times in like years. It's kind of weird. Like, you have to admit, it's kind of weird. Okay, story number 2. So, I used to live with my stepdad and my mom, but on the weekends, I would visit my dad and his girlfriend. And so they moved into this like new place that was really, really dirty. Like when they got there were a lot of cockroaches and like stains on the walls, like blackish brownish stains on the wall, and like this putrid smell all over the house. And this was a big house, and they had gotten the house for a very low price in rent. And well, we thought that the rent was so low because we would have to paint all the walls and clean everything. Shit. Sorry. Whoops. And so this house is like a rectangle, and in the middle of the rectangle there's like this patio, and my room, which is the one all the way to the back, is connected to this like inside patio, and then there's like a hallway, and there's a bathroom, and then there's my little brother's room, and then there's a kitchen, and all of these places are like have a view of the patio. And when I would go there to visit with my sister, we would feel very unsettled, and we didn't know why, and it was just this very weird and like heavy feeling. And my room was always very cold, and I mean, we lived in the Riviera Maya, so it was weird that my room was so cold, and there wasn't like any like air passing through that room or anything. And so this one night I was sitting at the table, and my dad's girlfriend comes to the dining area, and she sits down, and she's like she has like a worried face, and I ask her like, what's going on, what's wrong? And she's like a religious woman, so every night she would pray with my little brother, and they would like pray to the, what's it called, like the guardian angel or something. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about religion, but yeah, they would like pray, like when you sit by the bed and you say like, oh, guardian angel, like, thank you for protecting me or something. And so she was telling me that she and my brother were like praying to his guardian angel to protect him and whatnot. And my brother was like 2 or 3 at the time, and so she was telling him, yeah, your guardian angel is here to protect you and blah 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 blah. And like my little brother, he looks at her, he could barely speak. He looks at her and he's like, no mommy, my guardian angel is a very old skinny man who looks at me through the window of the patio at night. And we were both like, what? That's so scary. And we didn't even think of anything paranormal at the time. We thought like maybe there's a man at night going into the patio or something. And so we were very like aware and wary at night, just to be sure that there was no man coming in or anything. And so that happened, and that was weird. But then one day my sister and we were alone at the house, and we wanted to use the bathroom, so we go into the bathroom that's between my room and my brother's room. And I'm trying super hard to open the door of the bathroom. I'm like moving it and pushing it and pulling it, and it won't open. We don't know why. And so I'm like, you know what, sis? Let's just go to my dad's bathroom. This one doesn't open. Maybe the humidity made the wood of the door get swollen, and that's why I can't open it or something. And she's like, yeah, let's go. So we like take 2 steps towards the bathroom to my dad's bathroom, like 2 steps away from our bathroom, which we just try to open really hard. And we just hear how the doorknob just like does this, like, and then the door opens, like a person had opened it from the other side. But we were alone, and so I feel like a shiver, and I look back at the door of the bathroom, and then when I look back at my sister had already like ran like so fast out of there, and she's younger than me. And so I was like, no, 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 don't leave me alone. So I ran as well. And ever since that, I never wanted to go back there. I was always very reluctant. Anyway, so my dad moves away from that house. And a few years later, I'm like telling the story, the two stories of my brother saying what he said, and of the bathroom to my grandma, who coincidentally lives like behind that apartment. And as I'm telling her the stories, she gets like quieter and quieter and like very serious. And I'm like, why are you like that? Like, I mean, this is supposed to be like a funny anecdote or scary or something. And she like looks me dead in the eye and she's like, sweetie, did your dad not know who lived there before? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, that apartment hadn't been rented in many, many years because there used to live a man there, a very old, somewhat old man there. He was an American guy who had moved to where we lived. And this guy, there were rumors that he would pick up orphan kids from the street, which is very common in Mexico. And he would bring them to his apartment, and nobody ever knew what happened to those kids. And I was like, okay, so are you telling me that that guy maybe tried to break into the house and was looking at my brother through the window? And she's like, no, sweetie, the guy died in that apartment. And I was like, get the hell out of here. She's like, yeah, we don't know, like, nobody knows how he died, but he died there and it started smelling really, really bad. And that's how we knew that he was dead. And we took his, well, the police or whatever took his body outside of the apartment. And I was like, okay, that's really scary. And then she tells me, like, to top things up, that he died in the room where I slept every night when I was there. And I was like too freaked out. And I mean, I don't necessarily believe in paranormal things, but like all of these things, all of these like coincidences, I even looked the name of the guy on Google to see if my grandma was just like screwing with me. But no, I even found like his death certificate and everything. I don't want to give out any names or anything because where I used to live was very small. But that was very, very scary and very unsettling. And I don't know about you, but even though I don't believe in like paranormal things, this is kind of too weird for me. And yeah, so that is basically, yeah, my dad doesn't live there anymore, thank God. And yeah, those are basically my two scary stories. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope they weren't too scary for you, because ASMR is supposed to be about relaxation, but I just couldn't help myself. It's Halloween, so I'm in like a Halloween mood. And I don't know, I just thought it would be fun to share something spooky with you that I actually lived. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to share. Now I wonder if you guys have any scary stories, because if you do, please leave them in the comments below. I really want to read them. I'm like a sucker for those things. I love scary things. And just because I love getting a little bit scared, to be honest. And yeah, let me know if you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any other ideas as to what happened to me or to everyone involved in the stories I just told you, let me know in the comments as well. I would love an explanation. And well, I'll see you next week for a roleplay. And yeah, that's it. Happy Halloween and stay safe, guys.